Recording in progress. She was totally getting ready to start without the Zoom starting.
Oh my goodness. Welcome to another episode of the Holistic Life Podcast. I'm Jenny.
Yo, what up?
And that's Jay. And we are doing something unique this time where we are actually on the podcast, but we also are putting this video on our YouTube page. So if you want to see the video, if you're listening to the audio.
Whoa. Let's
Oh my God, you drive me nuts.
let's correct this real quick because we don't usually do videos. So
that was what I was saying.
Yeah. So this particular video. So I don't want you guys to be like, hey, you guys have been recording video all this time, and we just have audio.
I said this is a unique episode. You weren't listening.
Oh, I was totally listening.
All right, whatever. So anyways, this episode only is gonna be on
for now.
Oh my God, whatever, you go. And you know what, guys, if you're listening on the podcast and you want to see what we look like in real life when we're bantering back and forth, you're going to see it like on the YouTube page. And every annoyance that I have and every annoyance he has, you're going to be able to see it all.
Especially today, for some weird reason, it's 2:22 and like shit is all fucking crazy everywhere. So out of all the videos we could record, we're recording today. So let's get into it.
Get it all. Okay, so tell a little bit about who we are in the audience we serve.
Yeah. Official welcome to the Holistic Life Podcast with Jenny and Jay, and we are here to help entrepreneurs build an unfuckwithable mindset so they can create the lifestyle they want without the overwhelm and burnout. And it's actually changed in the past 48 hours, something similar to that. But yeah, basically what we do is we help people create a awesome fucking mindset so they can kick the world in the throat.
Hell yeah. Or the balls, whatever.
Whoa. Hey, are you saying the world is a guy?
No, I'm not picking genders here. All right, let's get to our special guest today. I thought you were going to pick up right there.
No.
All right. So we are excited to have a chat here with one of our good friends, and she's been a client of ours, Carrie Torres, and she is on here with us today. We're going to just have a conversation, chat a little bit about what it's like to work with the Hollas.
she will tell you firsthand.
Yeah, no, she's not gonna like sugarcoat this. I mean, she's just gonna tell you straight up how she feels. But we're just gonna talk a little bit about what her journey has been, some of the successes she's had, and anything else that comes up. So welcome, Carrie, to the show.
Oh, hello. I wish I had the other thing set up because we could have done a drum roll right there. But hey.
So Carrie, just kind of tell a little bit about who you are. Maybe even how you met us, something along those lines. Give the listeners and viewers a little bit of an idea of like who you are.
Okay. When did I meet you guys? It was way back through like
years ago.
Yeah, I think it was doing like
8
something
years.
with like Shalene Johnson's.
Yeah, because you and me go back to Beachbody.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's almost well.
8, 9 years?
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, I saw a Facebook memory, so that was like close to 10 when I was doing Beachbody stuff.
Wow.
Actually, it might be 11, 12 when I was doing Beachbody stuff.
That's
so
crazy.
I would say you and I would be like, I don't know, around 8, 9, 10.
Yeah,
years.
and then Jenny made her way in there. I think when she aligned herself with you is when I became super familiar with Jenny, right? That had to be what it was. Yeah.
Guilty by association.
We go way back, of course, to the Beachbody days. But I don't really know how to describe myself. I'm just your everyday person. I'm a mom. I'm a hopefully soon to be wife and stepmom. I'm a dog lover, dog mom, cat mom, just doing my thing. I work from home as a medical biller. I don't think of myself as anything, extraordinary or anything like that. I'm just me doing my thing, same everyday struggles, everyday issues that everybody else has, but just trying to learn new ways to navigate through them. And that's where Jenny and Jay came in.
I mean, I might be biased, but I see you as like Superwoman with the Superwoman, Wonder Woman with the Wonder Woman spin.
Yeah.
Like I see you that way.
I mean, it's flattering, of course, but I think the reason I say I'm not anything extraordinary is because anything that I have done or that I do every day is something that anyone can do. It's just a matter of um, knowing where to focus your intentions and knowing how to align your actions with what it is you want to see. That. So when I say, it's nothing extraordinary, it's because I know that whatever I do, anyone else can do as well. So yeah, hopefully I'm just that example. Like I've heard that a lot in the last year, like, oh, I look up to you so much, or oh, you inspire me. And that's crazy because I wasn't thinking about any of that when all of this started. I was just trying to you know, make myself feel better, be happier, figure out what was going on. So then to hear that and then to realize how many people on the regular are actually watching what you do, like you don't realize that. Someone's always watching. And I never understood that. And then it just kind of adds this whole new dimension to, what you're doing every day because now all of a sudden it's like, well, wait, if I give up on myself, then I'm also giving up on this person, or then how am I going to explain that to this person? So, yeah, that was kind of like an added dimension of like responsibility, I guess, that I didn't think about. Like I always think about like with famous people, they always say I'm not responsible for what people think or do. And I'm like, well, you do have a level of responsibility because you are being watched every day and you are being, looked at and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, but I'm not a celebrity, trust. But if you see me, you can ask for my autograph and I will totally give it to you. Totally give it to you.
I love it. For me, I'm grateful that you share, from your just genuine heart, because the thing that I love the most about working with you is watching your transformation and seeing how confident you've become.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't think I would ever. Confidence is something I always struggle with, even as a kid. And so, like, to now, I never thought that I would be able to just go and do things and not really care what anybody thought, or to like put myself out there and just be like, yeah, it is what it is. If it works, great. If it doesn't, hey, at least I tried. I was never thought that I would be able to do that. But yeah, and it's good. I mean, I like it. Life is a lot more freeing, when you just really know that what you're doing is I don't know. I just know it's right for me. And so when you're able to just kind of act on that and you don't really need anybody else to understand or to get it, you almost feel bad if they don't because I'm just like, yeah, well, I know a secret and you're not ready to hear it. So that's okay. When you're ready, everyone's still gonna be telling the same secret. So it's fine because I'm not keeping it a secret. You just don't want to listen to it right now because you're like, that doesn't sound like everything else I've heard. So you must be doing something that you're not telling anybody about. Nope. I've been 100% transparent. Take it or leave it. I'm okay with it. Yeah. I used to care so much about what other people thought. And now I'm just like, you don't believe me? I'm so sorry. I feel bad for you because you're missing out, but that's okay. You'll get there
So,
when you're ready, just like I
we're
was.
all on we're all in on the inside as to what's been going on, but I feel that it would be a good time to really just unpack, like, what are we talking about? What transformation? Like, take us back to the beginning. Like, where were you at in the beginning of this change, of this transformation, so that, everybody watching and listening can really understand, okay, like she changed, but what the heck? Like, what's going
Yeah.
on?
So, I mean, my whole life, I've always struggled with weight, and, self-image issues and confidence issues, and just always, but it always centered around my weight and my appearance. And so that kind of, you know, it kind of weaves its way into everything that you do. And you start to make decisions about where you're going to go or who you're going to be friends with or what you're going to do. And it's always based on how you look or what size you are or whatever. So that's something that I struggle with my whole life. My weight has gone up and down. I started to gain weight when I was 9 years old. And it was just up and down my whole life through high school. I got lucky. I was an athlete. So that helped me stay in shape, but I was always bigger than the other girls because I'm more built like a guy. Even when I'm in good shape, I look more like a dude than a girl. So there was always that, even though I was fit and even though I was the right weight that I was supposed to be and everything, I still looked bigger than all the other girls. And that was always an issue for me. Then getting into college and, gaining the freshman 15 or 50 in my case, whatever you want to call it, it's all good. And then losing it and then gaining it. And then it just, my weight always, people who know me really well know that you can tell how happy I am by how much I weigh.
Mhm.
When I'm happy and when things are good, well, it used to be when I was happy and when things were good, I was a good weight. I was a healthy weight. It didn't matter. But when things were hard, when they were going bad, I would gain weight. I was a total emotional eater. And so as an adult, you kind of reach a point where you're like, you get sick of being on the roller coaster. And I gained and lost the same 100 pounds like 2 times. And I could feel myself gaining again. And I had gotten to a point where it was like, okay, we're just gonna try to lose weight again. We're gonna do it again. Here we go. And then I was in a relationship at the time, and I had started kind of taking care of myself and really focusing. But of course, having the relationship be a motivation, because yeah, you want to look good for your dude or whatever, or your girl or whoever it is. And so that was the motivation, of course. And then shortly after that started, the relationship ended. And it was a bad one. Like it was probably the worst breakup I've ever had. And it really, really affected me in a lot of ways. And I remember when it happened, I got in my car, because what do you do when your heart gets broken? You go visit your best friends, Ben and Jerry, because Ben and Jerry make everything better. So I was going to drive to the store to go pick up Ben and Jerry, my buddies, and because they were going to make me feel better because I was going through this breakup. And I'm in the car driving to the store, and I don't know what it was, but this voice in my head, and out loud, I said to myself, "What are you doing? Why are you about to go to the store and buy something that is not, it's going to hurt you? You're going to go and hurt yourself because somebody else hurt you. Why are you about to do that?" And I turned the car around. I didn't go visit Ben and Jerry. I stood them up. For the first time in my life, I was like, sorry, guys, I got to do something different. And I went home and I really started thinking about it. Like, why do you do these things? Why has this always been your go-to? And how do we make it so that something changes? And I don't know. I didn't know. If I knew, I wouldn't have been, 45 years old, 44 years old, and still doing the same thing. If I knew, I would have done something different, but I didn't know. And that's where you guys came in. And we started working together on the tail end of that um, breakup. And then it just kind of went from there. And I think I've been working with you guys for what, a little over a year?
Yeah, a little over a
Yeah.
year.
And it's just been one thing after another. And surprisingly enough, going into it, I remember talking to you guys and filling out like that form and stuff. And you asked me what my goal was. And I said that my goal was to lose 100 pounds by my birthday, which is October 6th. And that would have been October 6th of 2021. My goal was 100 pounds. And, Jay was like, okay, we could do that. We'll sit down. We'll sit with that. That's fine. And then I remember when the process started, you guys didn't focus on the weight. And I was like, wait, okay, that's a little weird, because I thought we were just going to go in and this is what we're going to do. But instead, you guys had me focusing on, I think the very first thing you guys had me do was every time I went to go get a meal, you wanted me to write down how I was feeling. Like, are you happy? Are you sad? Are you bored? Are you whatever? And so in doing that and in it becoming aware of why I was eating and what I was choosing to eat based on that mood, becoming more aware of that, it was so funny because every subsequent step that we did, it always focused on something, on me, on the way that I thought about something, or the way that I viewed something, or the way that I chose to deal with something. And over time, I would say within like the first couple of months, I completely stopped focusing on the weight and losing it, and started focusing more on paying attention to my emotions, paying attention to my thoughts, paying attention to the words that I was saying to myself, how I was talking to myself, how I was allowing other people to talk to me. And that, I never realized how powerful that is. I never realized how powerful your thoughts are, or how powerful your words are, or the things that we think to ourselves when, when we do something stupid, we make a mistake, and you sit there in your head, you're like, "God, I'm so stupid. I can't believe I did that. Well, I'm such an idiot. I can't believe it." Okay, don't do that, because your body hears you, your mind hears you, and it believes what you're telling it. I never understood. I realized the whole time the power was always with me. The power was never about the number on the scale. The power was never about how many calories I consumed in a day. The power was always me. It was always in my thoughts. It was always in my words. And it was always in how I allowed those thoughts and words to affect my actions. And once I realized that, the the weight loss itself became much less important to me. And I remember as my birthday was getting closer, I was looking at the total number of pounds I had lost, and I wasn't at the 100. I think I was, as my birthday was approaching, I think I was just under like the 75. And I knew in my head, I was like, there's no way I'm going to lose another 25 pounds in like a month and a half. It's just not going to happen unless I go like crazy and starve myself or whatever, which isn't going to happen because I love food too much. And yeah, it's not going to happen. And so, but I remember thinking when I set that goal that I wanted to lose 100 pounds by my 46th birthday or whatever, I remember setting that goal and thinking, God, this is really important to me. Like, I really want to do this. And I remember thinking, if I don't get to that 100 pounds, I'm going to be so disappointed in myself. But when I got to that birthday and I looked back on the 10 months prior in that year, and I realized, okay, I lost 75 pounds. That is no joke. And that is so hard to do. But more than losing the 75 pounds was I looked at everything that I had learned about myself and everything that I had gained. And I was so much happier, even when things were not good, even when things were bad or hard or confusing or disappointing or whatever, uh, to realize that I can still be happy in the midst of that, that was so amazing for me because I had never in my life had that before. Just this, it's so nice because I have this, it's like I have this little box inside and it's got happiness in there and it's got fulfillment and it's got joy and it's got all these things in this little box and they're mine. And it does not matter what anybody or anything does in the outside world, you can't, that's mine. And I know how to protect it and I know how to defend it and I know how to advocate for it and I know how to make sure that it is honored and respected by anybody that is in my life. And I know also how to remove myself from situations that threaten the things that I keep in that box. That was the most amazing thing for me. And I didn't even care. I was like, 75 pounds is amazing. I'm awesome. That is so cool. I was like, the other 25, they'll come off when they come off. I don't really care right now. I'm not even worried about that. I don't even care because do you know how amazing I am? Like, let me just tell you what I've learned about myself in the last year. So yeah, it was just a total shift in all areas of my life. I took leaps at work. I took leaps in friendships. I took leaps in relationships. I took leaps everywhere. I just wasn't afraid to try. And it always paid off like in these like crazy dividends. It was so amazing. And it had nothing to do with what size my jeans were or it had nothing to do with the fact that, yeah, did I have an ice cream sundae for dinner last night? Yes, I did. And it was good. And if I wanted tomorrow night, I might do it again. So, and I don't care. And that doesn't make me a bad person. Like, I'm allowed to do that. It's okay. And so, yeah, it's just been, and I think I look back and I think about it. I think about it a lot, actually, just because I just look at things that are happening in my life today. And I think if this had happened a year ago or 2 years ago, or 5 years ago, it would have been so different. Like, and I sit there and say to myself, like, I'm really proud of you. That, and I've never been able to say that to myself either, just to be able to sit there and go, I'm so proud of you, Carrie. Like, you seriously are just, yeah, you got this. Like, you're so good. So yeah, it's funny because it started as one thing, and then very quickly I just realized this is not about the weight. Your weight is a symptom of everything else that's going on in your life. It's a symptom. It's not the main illness. It really is not. It's so much, it goes in so much deeper than that. And yeah, you guys you just like lit that light, you just lit the path. And I was like, okay, whatever you tell me to do, I'm about to do it because here we go. Nothing else worked. So let's try it. And there have been times when I'm like, Jenny and Jay are crazy. What the hell are they asking me to do? But I'm gonna do it because okay, I'm gonna do it. And it always worked. So I was like, I don't think that anymore. I'm like, whatever they say, okay, there you go. Let's do it.
It's interesting because, you came to us with that goal, right? That you said of losing 100
Yes.
pounds.
Mhm.
But one thing that sticks out to me about your journey is you started with us unemployed.
Yes,
And
I
then
did.
you manifested a really amazing job. And then you had some key moments in that job. I can think of at least 2.
Yeah.
And then brought you to where you are today. So I'd love to let you tell that story of
Well, it
that
was
journey,
interesting.
because it's such a big piece.
I think when I came to you guys, I hadn't started at Metro yet, right? With the
No,
911?
you
No,
were
okay. So
doing
You had just finished the
the
races
yes, I had just quit
and you were
Renegade
in
Racing
between.
and I was doing billing. And I was kind of in limbo with the billing because I was transitioning out and I had gotten hired. I live in Nevada. At the time I lived in Las Vegas. Now I live in Henderson. But I was living in Las Vegas. I had moved out there specifically for a job. Sorry, my dog just jumped in the bed. I had moved out there for a job with the police department. I wanted to be a 911 operator. Um, it was a job I had applied for once in the past and I did not make it the first time. It's a very competitive job. Um, but I wanted to try again. So they had told me you have to wait a year and then you can reapply. So I waited that year and I did as much as I could to make myself what I thought would be more marketable, more, valuable as an employee. Let me try some new things. So I got into working in endurance racing and producing of those events, which was amazing. It was the best year of my life. If I could do it every day, I would. But unfortunately, COVID claimed the company. It was a small family owned business, but I digress because they're amazing. I love my Renegade family. And so we moved to Vegas because I was like, okay, I'm going to get this job this time. And I didn't even have it yet, but I was like, I'm taking a chance coming out here. I'm leaving everything. I'm leaving my 2 secure jobs and I'm coming out here because I'm going to get this job with the police department. So I ended up, thank you God, I did get the job. And I started in January of 2021, or it was 2020. It was January 2020. I started that job. It was a very rigorous, competitive, demanding 10-week academy. And I got through the academy. And then I was officially a call taker and I took the floor. And I remember it, I have a lot of respect for 911 operators because I can say now I did it for a year and I don't ever want to do it again. I don't know how people do that. But there were some it was interesting because when I realized I started having thoughts that maybe this job wasn't for me, I was like, God, I don't think that I want to do this job. And then I started thinking, but look at everything that you gave up. Like you moved your dad out here, you quit 2 jobs, like you put 10 weeks into that academy and you didn't see family and you didn't see friends and you had no life and you've worked so hard. It really took 3 years to get the job because I had applied the first time. I had to wait a year, then I had to apply again. And it was just like you went through all this stuff and this polygraph and this psych exam and all these things. And now you're here and you're doing it and you're making really good money. And you've never made money like this before. And you have health insurance for the first time in your life. And you have a retirement. You have everything you've ever wanted. Everything I had ever wanted was in this job. And I was like, I freaking hate it. Like I hate going to work every day. I'm sitting in my car until the last possible second because I don't want to go in. I'm like, oh my God. And I was gaining weight and because I was eating like constantly and I was working graveyard and it was just messing with everything. And I just started having like anxiety attacks, which I'd never had before. I was having panic attacks, which I'd never had before. Didn't on my days off, I didn't want to leave the house. I didn't want to get in my pajamas. I didn't want to do anything. And I was like, this is not me. Like, I don't care how much money this is. I don't care. I'm not happy with this job. And so one day I said, I told my dad, I was like, I'm going to go to work today, but I'm going to quit my job. And he was like, what? I said, I'm going to quit my job today, but we're going to be fine. I said, we're going to be okay. We'll be okay. I'm going to quit my job. So I went to work sorry, dog. So I went to work that day and I went in like a little bit early before my shift and I asked to talk to my supervisor and I said, yeah, I'm going to quit. I quit. I'm done. And she was like, Carrie, you're like tomorrow you're getting released from training because it's this crazy long amount of training and then you're on probation for a year. And I was just about to be cut loose solo. And I said, that's why I'm quitting, because I know that my heart is not in this job. And I know that every day, 4 days a week for 10 hours a day, I talk to people on the worst day of their life and they are depending on me to catch every detail of what they're saying. And they're depending on me to be involved and invested and accurate. And literally every time I pick up that phone, I have somebody's life in my hands. and it could be a citizen or it could be a police officer. I said, and I am not about to be responsible for a police officer not going home to his family that night because I wasn't paying attention, because I hate this job and I wasn't listening completely. And I didn't hear that she said he had a gun. Or I'm not about to have a citizen get hurt on my watch because I didn't hear her boyfriend in the background saying, hang up the phone or I'm going to shoot you. Like, I was like, that's why I'm quitting, because I cannot have that level of responsibility. I'm not invested in this job. I don't want to be here. I don't like it. I don't like who I am. I didn't like who it was making me. I was angry all the time and I was bitchy all the time. And I'm like, that's not me. Like when people describe me, that's the last thing they say. They say, oh, she's so funny and she's so great and she's so nice and she's so, no, for the time I was working at that job, it was like, oh yeah, she's a bitch, man. You gotta watch out for her. Like, no, I wouldn't, I was like, that's not me. And so I quit, and I didn't have a safety net and I didn't have anything. And I thought, I'll find another job, no problem. Like, it's gonna be great. And I ended up being unemployed for 3 months, and I was dipping into savings, and I was thinking, what the hell is wrong with me that I can't get hired somewhere? Like, this is so crazy. But then another job presented itself for considerably less money, but I was a lot happier in that job. And it started out really well and it was good and I was happy there. And then I promoted to management like very shortly after I started. It was like a month or something after I started.
And you were a part of that promotion.
Yes,
You asked for it.
I did.
And I think
like,
that's such a
I
big
did.
piece that you said you had never done before.
Right. I had never done that before. And it was interesting because at that job, I found myself advocating for myself in ways I never had. And it was interesting because I had this newfound confidence in my abilities. And I was like, no, I am good at what I do. The job involved medical billing, and that's something that I've been doing for July will be 17 years. So I know that I'm a good medical biller. I know this. I'm very, very good at what I do. And I knew that. And I knew that I had leadership abilities. And I knew that I was really good at leading a team and building people up and teaching people. These are all things I knew I was good at. And I was proving that to myself, that I wasn't being recognized or acknowledged the way that I felt I deserved to be. So, but I have felt that in the past, but I just didn't say anything. I was like, well, I just need this job. So I was like, I'm not going to say anything because they might fire me. And now I was like, oh, I'm going to say something. And if they fire me, fine, I'll go somewhere else and let somebody else pay me what I'm worth. Go ahead.
Right. I remember that moment. I remember us being like, yo,
Yeah.
Carrie is unfuckwithable. Like, she is so stepping into this. Like,
I seriously, and it was amazing. And I remember like when having that conversation with the owner, I was like, I am not nervous. I am not shaking my voice. I'm like, this is how it is. This is how it's going to be, or I'm leaving. Like, if this is how it's going to be, then I'm not the person for this job and I will leave. And so it turned around and they made some changes to accommodate the request that I was making. But then ultimately, in the long run, it just started to go back. It started to revert back to what it was. And so I just, again, one day, I just called up, I had it out with my director via email. And I said to my boyfriend, I said, I'm going to quit my job today. And he was like, do it. And I was like, what? He's like, do it. He's like, I don't like the way they treat you. They don't appreciate you. They don't respect you. He's like, do it. You'll find something better. Just do it. So I did. And 3 weeks later, I found the job I have now. And it has been so good. I get to work from home and I get to be here for my boyfriend and for his son and for my animals, which is so important to me because my animals are like my babies. And so, yeah, it's just been great. I get to work in my pajamas again, which is so fun. But it came full circle because what I thought I wanted, I always thought of success as like I remember when I got the job at the police department, it was because I thought I had to get a grown-up job because I had been a medical biller for 15 years. I worked from home. I didn't make oodles of money, but I was able to support my son and myself. And that's all I really cared about. But I always thought that like, in order to be successful, you had to have a job with like a 401k and all these benefits and all these fancy letters and acronyms after everything on your paycheck and stuff. And I realized, no, that for me, that's not success. Success for me is, am I happy at the end of every day? Do I feel like I made a difference for somebody? Do I feel like I helped somebody? When my head hits the pillow at night, am I able to just exhale and go to sleep? Like, is my family happy because I'm able to give them the best of myself and the best of my time? And that was how I was going to define success. I always thought it was because you had a real grown up job. And yeah, it was so fun to say, oh, I work for Las Vegas Metro. I'm a 911 operator. Yeah, I was a badass. Of course I was. but I was miserable. And so I didn't care. I was like, let me go back. Now I can say, yeah, I'm a medical biller and I'm really good at what I do and I love my job. And I earn a lot of money for, this another person, and he compensates me very well for earning him that money. And that is, yeah, do I go to an office every day? No. Do I drive a big fancy car? No. Do I have to wear a suit to work? No, I do not. I work in my pajamas, but I'm happy. And that's, for me, that's success. Success in my jammies every day and getting paid. So there you go. But yeah, that never would have happened though. Again, had I had that job a year ago, I probably, if I had gotten the job at Metro the first time I applied, I would probably still be a 911 operator. I would probably weigh 500 pounds, but I would be making really good money. So I would just be happy with it. That's honestly probably
Supposedly.
what it would have been like. Supposedly, yes.
Yeah.
But
You've talked a lot, and I love this story because people are getting a insider look, like firsthand look into your life and how it was, and what you thought was success and what you experienced, which kind of goes in um, our coaching approach,
mhm,
and you said earlier, and I want people to make sure you hear this. She came in looking for weight loss,
mhm,
right?
yeah,
Um, and what we did was we didn't fully address. I mean, we indirectly addressed the weight loss by directly addressing your mindset, your self confidence, and your limiting beliefs.
right, exactly. And there were many limiting beliefs, like things you guys, I can't even, there were things that I had believed to be true or allowed to influence me, that things I had learned from the time I was like 6 or 7 years old.
Mhm.
And you guys helped me learn how to let those go and to not ever let them affect me again. Like, and there are things that I literally thought I would carry for my entire life because I had, and I just figured this is just a part of who I am and this is just the way that it is. And to realize, no, that might have been who you were, and that might have been something that happened to you, but that doesn't mean that it gets to drive the car for you for the rest of your life. Like, you're the one behind the wheel and you get to decide, who comes with you and who doesn't. So I was able to leave all that shit in the rear view. And yeah, I don't even look in the rear view anymore to check on it. Like, if it's still there, cool, but I'm not coming back for it. So it's gonna be waiting on the side of the road for like a really long time because no thank you. I don't need it anymore. It doesn't serve me at all. And it didn't serve me, but I always thought that it did. It was just part of my, it was just what I thought my world was. Yeah. Super limiting. Oh, God, to think about it. That's so crazy. It seems like so long ago. It doesn't seem like it's only been like a little over a year. It seems like so long ago. Yeah, that's
I think the power in that is the fact that, the takeaway, for anybody listening is thinking about the times that you've made a change in your life versus a transformation.
yeah,
And transformation is so much more permanent than a change. Now, you made little changes along the way that ended up building up into the transformation.
yeah,
And the transformation feels that way because you made the little changes, right? So
right.
many people, and you've done this in the past. You tried to change, you tried to change, you tried to change. You did, you went back. You did, you went back,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah,
that's what we believe is like if you do these small things and you do it on your terms and you do it in a way that you are agreeing every step of the way.
right.
Because even some of the things as we were talking and saying, okay, what do you want to practice over these next 2 weeks? You'd be like, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
And then we would make some adjustments to get to the
yeah,
point where you were like, yeah, I can do that.
yeah,
And had we pushed you, like you said, the traditional, like, oh, I thought we were going to go in and go kick some ass, right? Like the traditional, like, oh, let's boot camp it, whatever,
yeah,
right? Like, let's go hardcore. That's not our style. And so it's like, had we pushed you to do those things that you were like, it'd be so much
yeah.
easier to yo-yo back.
I was just gonna say I wouldn't be like where I am today. Like most of the time in my life when I've lost a considerable amount of weight, by this time in the process, I've already started to gain it back. And that hasn't happened here. And even with, the last few months have been so many like really big life changes, like big ones that in the past would have totally just been like, I need some Doritos to get through this, and I need some pizza and some fries, and Ben and Jerry better be on call because this
Right?
is no joke. Like, we are serious right now. But instead, it has not been like that. And so, it's just been nice to have just a whole different set of, arsenal in my, I don't even know what you call it. Where do you keep your arsenal? In my bunker? I don't freaking
In
know
your
where I'm
toolbox?
going
I
with that
don't know.
analogy.
Whatever,
Whatever.
yeah.
Right.
Tools
It's
in my
like,
toolbox,
yeah,
whatever. I
yeah.
think I'm thinking weapons because I was playing with my boyfriend's son earlier and we were doing Would You Rather, and he was like, "We're gonna do weapons of mass destruction." I'm like, I don't even know what those are. Okay,
Reel it
like,
in.
whatever.
Where
And that's
did
why I
you
was thinking
learn
that.
this?
Right?
Atomic
Yeah, I'm like,
bomb.
you're 7. How do you know this and
What
I
the
don't?
fuck?
Like, okay. But yeah, I think that's why I was thinking arsenal. But anyways, just knowing that it's just funny because I used to always be so scared and so nervous and always waiting for the other shoe to drop. I was a single mom for 18 years. I raised my son by myself until he joined the military at 18. And that is rough. Like, single moms, props to you. I am one. Like, I am you, and just keep going because you are the true superheroes in this world. Like, I think back to the times, worrying about, putting food on the table or paying rent or, telling him we were going to have a candlelight picnic with Whataburger in the living room because it would be fun, not because I couldn't pay the electric bill and it got shut off, honey. So we're just
Yeah.
gonna. But I
Spin
think
it.
about things like that, and I remember just waking up every day and being so worried about, how am I going to put gas in the car today? Or how am I going to get food? Or how am I going to pay for that field trip? And always being like one thing away from just the whole bottom just dropping out from under me. And so many years of just always waiting for the other shoe to drop, always waiting for what's going to happen now or who's going to disappoint me now. And then, you know, as an adult, having that same approach with like relationships, just being really bad at picking people to be in a relationship with and just always waiting for that next thing that was going to piss them off, and and it was always waiting for the what was going to happen and never knowing, like, okay, well, when it does, like, what am I going to do? I don't know what I'm going to do. And now I don't do that anymore. I'm not afraid because I know that no matter what happens, like, I'm good. I can do this. I'm not the same person that I was. And because I'm not the same person that I was, I don't approach people in situations the same way that I used to. I approach them very differently now. So the result that I get and the kinds of people that I have in my life is very different now because I have different requirements for the people in my life now. The bar is higher, and I'm sorry, you're going to have to reach. You're going to have to, because I'm not lowering it. And if you can't reach it, that's okay. Work on it for a year. Come back to me and try it again. Let's see if you can get there. I'll give you another chance. I am loving and forgiving and all those good things, but I'm not lowering that bar. And so because I've raised that, and I haven't just raised the level of expectations for the people in my life, I've raised them for myself too. There are things I'm no longer allowed to do, things that would have been totally okay and Carrie, 2 years ago. No. And I catch myself sometimes. I'm like, what are you doing? You excuse me, we don't do this anymore. No, ma'am. But get away from here. What are you thinking? Like the song "Move, Bitch." Like, no, we do not do this anymore. Excuse me, I have to come through here. New Carrie is coming through. So it's just an entire, I just have that. It's just a higher level of expectation, and I don't apologize for it. I've had people say, "Or your expectations are too high, or you demand too much from people." I'm not sorry, because I know what works for me and I know what I want and I know what I deserve. And not everybody's going to be able to give that to me. And on the flip side, not everybody's going to want that from me too. And I'm okay with that.
Right.
If I don't fit in your life and you don't fit in mine, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But let's not be foolish and set ourselves up for disappointment or pain or whatever. Let's just be real with it and honest with it and say, hey, you know what? Good luck. Cool. If I see you, I'll see you when I see you. Great. I don't feel that need to please everybody anymore. I don't feel the need for everybody to like me or accept me. I don't need that anymore. And I put a lot more emphasis on it in the past than was ever necessary. It's just you can't please everybody. And so why are you wasting your time trying? Just, I always say, if my head hits the pillow at night and I feel good with who I am and what I did that day, then that's all I need. I don't need anybody else's approval or understanding, or I don't even need for anybody else to think that I'm good or great. I think that I'm good and great. So there.
So there.
Yes.
So one of the things that we talk about, like in when we focus on the mindset coaching, right?
Right.
But we talk about the 6 dimensions of life.
Mhm.
And so I think this is a cool thing because you've touched on almost all of them. And I think what people don't realize is that what is the thing you always say? Mindset is the
Foundation.
solution.
Oh, miss, that was a meatball. I totally didn't hear that department. Yeah, mindset isn't. A lot of people feel that mindset is the problem. You know, my mindset is my problem. Your mindset. You hear this from coaches all the time. But instead of thinking that the mindset is your problem, what if mindset was your solution? What if
Right.
that was the key to everything? Like, how would we approach life? And I think you're a glaring example of looking at any particular situation. Hint, hint. We're back. We're about to step into Wilsonville.
Yeah, I was gonna lead up with that with the 6 dimensions.
Yeah.
It was gonna be like the finale of all the 6.
But yeah, like what
Whatever.
if your mindset? Oh, she's on video too, so y'all get to see the red cheeks and
Stop. No.
so yeah, mindset being the solution rather than the problem. And then
Yeah.
I mean, it's all perspective.
Right, because you're able to take these things that you learn with mindset and apply them to all dimensions of your life. So I wanted to go through and just highlight, right?
Ooh,
Oh,
before you do this, let's talk about, because all this is a process, you know, and you're an example of this. Like, I love this conversation because without us even asking questions, you basically described um our progressive process
Right.
of handling, you know, this 360-degree living blueprint that
Right.
we did. And basically that's that, you know, it's actually 5 steps, but 5 steps is before you come to us. And our first step is like self-awareness. You know,
Yeah.
something needs to change. Something has to change. I've tried everything else. I've done everything else, but you know, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, to quote a great
Right.
rapper, you know. And then it's like, okay, you're aware now. What is your motivation and
determination.
yes,
Getting mad.
what is your motivation and determination? So you're mad, right? Like, I'm motivated and determined because I've done all this stuff and shit has to change. And then
Yeah.
it's like, let's get fit. And that's like, let's focus
But we want to be raw
intentionally.
first.
Oh, yeah. See, look, I'm skipping process. I'm so excited. I'm trying to get through this shit. Yeah. And we get raw, right? It's like,
Yeah.
okay, you're motivated and determined, which is cool, but what are you ready, able, and willing to do? A lot of people are ready and able, but you know, they kind of slack on that willing. You know, it kind of
Right.
goes into what you were saying. Like, I want to lose 100 pounds. Give me the workout. Give me the meal plan. You know, because that's what we do, right? And it's like, nah, we're doing something else. And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm willing to do that, right?
Yeah.
And it's like,
Mhm.
okay, cool. Well, what are you ready, able, and willing to do? And it's just like you said, setting that bar, reaching that bar, and then every little time, next time, like putting the bar a little higher, reaching
Right.
a little bit more. Like, and I despise when people say, you know, get out of your comfort zone. Like, once again, perspective again. What if you expand your comfort zone and don't get out of it, right?
Yeah.
Or different conversation though. Then we get fit, right? We're focused intentionally on transforming. And it kind of goes to what you said, like, what does Carrie want? Where does Carrie want to go? You
Mhm.
know? And then step 4 is like effort, like that effortless freedom and flow. It's like where you are now. Yeah, shit has been crazy for the past 2 months. I mean,
Yeah.
we know the story. You don't have to share it or the stories of
Right.
like the little things that have been going on, but it's like, shit, fuck, I'm gonna be cool. Like,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
know I'm going to make it to the other end of all this.
Mhm. Yeah.
And the whole time you've talked, I mean, like you have literally, like, if you're a listener, and even it might be cool to go back and rewatch or re-listen to this and like see if you can pick out the points where Carrie was self-aware, where she was mad, she got mad, she was raw, she focused intentionally on transformation, and then she said F it. I mean, there's very specific points in all of our stories. And the thing is that process applies to every dimension of life.
Yeah.
So once you learn it, like we may have talked about food and habits at some point, but you applied those same things
To everything else.
to everything
To
else.
everything else. Yeah.
And
It,
so,
it works for everything else. It's the process works in every area of life. You just
right,
have to take the little steps and apply it. Yeah. And you don't even like over time, you don't even need someone to tell you, okay, now you're going to do this with your
Right.
relationships. Okay, now you're going to do this with your, no, you just naturally are like, wait, I already know what to do. Like,
Right.
I got this. I'm
right.
cool. Okay, here we go.
So
Yeah.
so we'll do the build up here. So the 6 dimensions of life. One dimension is physical.
Yeah.
And as I go through them, you can say, yep, I transformed that, I did that, we touched on that. And there may even be an aspect that we didn't touch on, and that's okay too.
Right.
So physical.
Physical, we did. I've lost 75
Mark.
pounds, kept it off.
Right?
I'm super way more active. I started like a thing for myself on January 1st of 2021 where I was going to walk or run at least a mile a day. And
The
I,
Carrie mile.
yeah, the Carrie mile. And I did that. I think I crushed like 1100 something miles in 2021. And I just hit streak day like 400 something. Streak day 500 is coming up soon. But yeah, I'm still doing the mile a day, usually more, but always at least a mile. So that's been great. And I didn't expect that to become a habit. I really thought it was going to be like, oh, I did it for a year and I'm done. And now it's like, no, I have to. Like my body's like, why aren't we walking at least a mile? Go. Like, what's wrong with you? So now it's just a thing. The streak will just go. I don't know how many days, but it's just going to keep going. But I keep track because my OCD, I have to know like how many days. I just have to. It's on my calendar. It's like every 100 days I get like an alert. I have a sickness. I just need to know. So that will just keep going. Yeah.
So
that was
physical, got it. Now
Yes.
let's move on to emotional.
Emotional is like I think I'm a lot healthier emotionally. I deal with things a lot better. I used to be really reactive and I had like a really bad temper and like, just like super. But now I'm a lot more aware that when I react to situations like that, it doesn't help things. It's just like adding fuel to a fire that's already burning. Like, why are you gonna get mad and make it worse? Just much more aware of my emotions, where they're coming from, why they're happening. I'm very aware of my triggers. I'm able to spot them when they're coming and get away from them and I'll just say like, I'm about to be triggered. I need to move myself from this situation because something's about to happen. Yeah.
Okay.
Very,
mental.
very,
Mental and
Mental?
mindset. Mhm.
my mindset is so good. Like it still struggles sometimes because I'm human. Like
Right.
everybody has those moments. It's not like I'm not by any means saying that every single day is like, oh, unicorns and rainbows coming out my ass. No, no, every single day is not like that. But I know I would say, probably 90% of the time my mindset is on point. And the 10% that it's not, I allow myself a few minutes to sit with it. Go ahead. You want to feel bad? You want to go ahead. Fine. Sit here, do it. But once you do, then you're done and you're going to get up and you're going to keep going because you had your little pity party and now you're just going to move on. We're not doing this anymore. We're not going to sit here for a month and think about this. You've got 2 minutes, go. And then we move on. No.
Okay. The 4th dimension, spiritual.
That's always been a good one for
I was
me.
like, yeah, we didn't. Yeah, she was
Yeah.
good. She
Well,
was
I
good with
said
that
we
one,
might
yeah.
not have everything, but this is
Oh,
still
you're
6 dimensions.
Jenny's just
Yeah, that's always been
boxes.
something,
Going
Jesus
through
is
the
my
6.
homeboy. I pray every day.
That's the process.
But yeah, I think if anything that my spirituality is probably like how I made it as long as I did with as bad as things were. I don't know that I would have gotten through that without some kind of higher power. For me, it's God. I don't know what it is for other people. But whatever it is, I just think that everybody has to have a belief in something higher than themselves. So for me, that's always been a good one. And now I'm just, yeah, I don't think I'll ever not have that one. That one was good.
So leading up, we are building up to the big finale. The 5th one is environmental.
Environmental, I'm much better at making sure that I am surrounded by the people and things that serve me and that grow me. I do like to throw people in there who challenge me because I think that's important. I don't ever want to get so comfortable with where I'm at that I think that I'm don't have any more growing to do because I think I always will. There's always going to be something that I could work on or strive for or build to. But yeah, I cut out a lot of just the fluff, I guess, and people that I maybe tolerated or hung out with just out of like a sense of obligation or because it was just familiar or it was how it always was. And I realized that a lot of those friendships and relationships, they just kind of phased themselves out. They were no longer serving a purpose for me or for the other person. So why would I want to waste either one of our time? And it's not a good or a bad thing. It's not like something huge and catastrophic happened. It wasn't like I sat down with this person and had the conversation like, look, I have just leveled up and you no longer fit in my life. No, it wasn't like that. It was just a gradual progression of, we're spending less and less time together. We're talking less and less because we don't relate the same way that we used to anymore because I'm not the same way that I was before. And so it was just like, yeah, I appreciate the time and the memories and the everything, but it's just not working anymore. So, I'll text you once in a while, make sure you're doing good, but I'm not going to be hanging out with you every week because, yeah, I don't really want to anymore. So I just make sure that I'm surrounded with just things that, serve where I want to be right now and where I would like to be, in a month or a year or whatever. Okay, go ahead. I know you're dying to get to the sixth dimension. What do you
And
think to say?
as you can see, a lot of these dimensions have overlaps, and Carrie already started talking about the sixth dimension. And we are so excited about this one because this one is the one that Carrie believed wasn't possible for her. Okay, I just want to say that. And obviously, it includes more than what she's going to share, but for Carrie, the relational social is the sixth dimension. Oh, I'm so excited.
God, whatever. So, okay, you know me. I'll put it out there. I'm an open book, girl. I don't care. So, I said earlier I was a single mom for 18 years, raised my son by myself. Long story short, I do have a history of abusive relationships, physically, mentally, verbally. I've been through it all. Not proud that I allowed the cycle to continue, but it it was what it was. It happened. That was my life. So then I was married briefly. It was for most people, when you get married, it's like the pinnacle, the apex. I have reached the summit of this mountain. For me, my marriage was my rock bottom. My marriage and my eventual separation and divorce was my rock bottom. I would say the wedding day was rock bottom because I knew that day that it was wrong, but I did it anyways. So yeah, that was the rock bottom. And after that, I was like, I'm done. This is just not, I have tried it all. No, I cannot do this. I'm in my 40s. I'm getting too old for this crap. I'm done. And I used to make jokes all the time about, oh, I'll be single forever, or oh, I'll do this. I would joke about it a lot, like a lot, a lot. And then right before my birthday, um, I can't remember who I was talking to. I don't know if it was one of you guys or somebody else, but I was joking again about relationships. And I had this person ask me, like, is that really how you feel? Like, honestly, do you really feel that way? And I was like, no. I said, I probably like, you know, I wouldn't mind having like a relationship or whatever. Like, it would be nice to have somebody to spend the second half of my life with because I'm going to be 50 in a few years. But I just didn't think that it was possible for me. I just figured there's just no way that's going to happen. And this person said, maybe you should stop like making jokes about it because when you say those things, like that's going to affect the way that you present yourself to people and the way that you put yourself out there. And you're going to give off this vibe that you're not interested or you're not available. And so you're not going to attract people to you. And that resonated with me because it was in line with everything that I'd been learning that year. And it was just the last thing to kind of catch because I was terrified. I honestly terrified of being alone. And I just thought this is what's going to happen. So I better just make a joke out of it and accept it and make it like it's okay. Like I chose this life, right? But no, if I was honest with myself, I believe in love. I believe in marriage. I believe in family. And I wanted that for myself because I didn't come from a healthy family myself. My son obviously didn't have the family structure that I would have wanted him to have. So I was like, you know what? I really do want this. So I took a leap. And for my birthday, I bought myself a present. And I still can't believe I did this, but it worked. So I'm not going to be afraid to share it. I bought myself a 1 month subscription to Match.com because that's what you do, right? When you want to meet people and this pre-post COVID era, and you're 46 and you don't know how to date anymore because you haven't dated since you were in your 20s. And it's okay, I'm gonna go on Match.com. And it was interesting because it's very freeing to be able to look at these profiles and just be like, no, no, and just exit out, right? Like you don't have to explain anything or anything like that. But it was interesting because what I found myself looking for was different than what I would normally have looked for in a man. And so, I matched with a couple people and started, going on dates or whatever. And then very early on in the process, like I think I think I had been on the app for like 3 or 4 days, and I got a message from this guy, and I didn't answer it right away because in his profile it said that he had a kid. And one of my things was, well, I don't want to date somebody that has young kids. Like I'll date somebody that has adult kids because I have an adult child and that's fine. But a young kid, I don't know, because you got to make a lot of changes in your life and it's just crazy. And I don't know if I want to do that. But I kept going back to this profile. I'm like, God, this guy like checks all the freaking boxes, right? Like he checks all the boxes. Like, oh my gosh, like what the fuck? So finally I was like, you know what? I'm super good with kids. Like kids love me. Let's just do it. So I responded to his message and we started chatting, and we texted and chatted for like 3 weeks or whatever. And then we made plans to go to dinner, and we met at dinner, and I was like, I am going to marry this guy and I really hope he figures it out. Cause like, I'm ready right now. Like, yeah, I'm ready right now. Like I'm about to change my last name, and I would never fucking do that. I didn't even change my last name when I was married before. I was like, no, I'm a Torres. Like, sorry. No, I'm about to change my last name, y'all. By the end of this year, my last name is not going to be Torres anymore. I'm just telling you right now. So I completely he was it, and he was my person, and I took a chance and it paid off big time. And now, we live together. He bought a house back in December, and we moved in December 16th. And he's got a son who I adore, and I think he's kind of fond of me too. So yeah, we'll see.
That's always a plus.
Yeah, right. And my dog and my cat love him. So that was important. I was like, if they don't like him, I'm out. But they love him more than they love me. So yeah, like my cat sleeps on his side of the bed when he's at work. Like, fuck you, mom. I'm waiting for Wilson to come home. Like, he's my person. I don't care about you. I mean, like, whatever. I saved you from a dumpster, asshole. I'll put you back in that dumpster.
Yeah,
it's on my side of the bed.
It's always a good look when the pets co-sign, but it kind of sucks too. And they're like, oh.
Yes, I'm like, you're mine. So yeah, but I can honestly, like, this is the healthiest, best relationship I've ever had. He's honestly the best person I've ever met. Like, and I'm not trying to be cheesy, but he really is truly the best person I've ever met. And yeah, it was because I just flipped the script on how I talk to myself about relationships, and I put myself out there. And I think that being honest with myself and saying, look, love is something that you really do want to find. So you need to make sure that you're letting people know that. I think it definitely made a difference. And I'm not saying that everybody's going to join Match and 3 weeks later you're going to cancel your subscription because you met your person. But if you go into it with the right mindset, and if you go into it telling yourself that you want to find that love, and for you, you know what that is. I knew exactly what I wanted. And I didn't bother with the profiles that didn't have it. I didn't make excuses for this person. Oh, well, he has this, but it's okay. No. You do not collect red flags, ladies or men. Do not collect them. We know that's okay. Let them go. And so, yeah, it was very nice to just have that approach to it. And yeah, I was able to zero in, and now I eat. Yeah.
Now I eat. No, but I feel too like you had to go, especially for this, because this was a big step for you, right? And if that was one of the things you tried to tackle on early on, I feel it might have been a chance you may have gotten burnt. You know what I'm saying? And it'd been like,
I definitely think I would have.
You're like, see, I tried this, put myself out there, and this is what happens, and fuck it, right? But you had to go through like all this other stuff to see, like, okay, this this is a new Carrie. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Build up that confidence and that self-worth along the way.
Right.
Yeah. I think saving that till the end was the smartest thing to do, because like Jason had it.
No, I was gonna say too, And the crazy thing was, it's not like it just happened. It wasn't like you were like, okay, now it's time to find the boo thing, right?
Right.
Right.
It just happened. It just like everything. It was kind of like the universe said, okay, we've dealt with the past shit. Now you're ready for
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, exactly. But had it happened at any point sooner, I don't know that it would have been. I think it would have been one of those things where I, maybe made a concession for someone or saw a red flag and decided to ignore it and then got into, see, I really don't deserve to have love. Like I was
Hmm.
right all along. But yeah, it was just, I feel like this was just kind of like the final little bit. And I had gotten to a point where I really was ready. Like I really, really, really was like, okay, I feel like I have addressed all of my baggage and all of my issues. And I feel like now I'm just self-aware enough and just to be able to be like, okay. And I find myself with him when something happens that I don't like, I'm like, I will stop right then and be like, that just hurt my feelings. We need to talk about that because that I don't like that. Or, I like yesterday, just something just happened yesterday. And he said, are you okay? And I said, well, you said something earlier and I really don't like the way it made me feel. So we're going to have to sit down and talk about it. And I was like, we don't have to do it right now. I'm not ready right now. But before we go to bed tonight, we're going to talk about it. And we did. We woke up in the morning and he was like, are you good? I was like, I'm good. Thank you. Yes, I am. But I find myself doing that. And I never would have done that before. It would have just been like, oh, well, he had a long day at work. Or, oh, it's okay that he did that. Like, I don't want to piss him off. No, I'm okay to piss you off now. It's okay. We'll get over it. It's okay. You'll get over it. We will. It'll be okay.
Just that swag, even even
Yeah.
even now, it's just like,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, yeah,
I
it is what
mean,
it
it's
is.
I think it's awesome. Like I can speak for myself. I think it's awesome when you have this client that you're a part of their transformation, yet at the same time you admire them so much.
Oh,
Like I'm just like as you've continued to unfold and blossom into this butterfly, into this amazing flower, whatever thing, it's
yeah.
like, man, like he said, that swagger. It's
Yeah.
like, man, I'm just like, wow.
I know
Wow.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's really truly it feels like it's been so much longer than a year. Seriously, it feels like it would take so much longer than a year to get to this point. This to me, this Carrie was not ever a possibility.
Hmm.
I never conceived that I could be this way or that life could even be like this way. Because life, it's it's good right now. Like I'm happy. It's not perfect by any stretch, but it's so good. And I'm just like, damn, like you did that, girl. Like you look at I just look around and I'm like, look at what you did. Hello. You just
Yes.
got in there and, and there you go. Okay. Look
I
at
love
you.
this. I mean, this has been fun, and I know that anybody listening or watching, if there's anything they can relate to you, there's so many different ways that people could relate with their own story.
Yeah.
I mean, we're already at the hour mark. I mean, it's flown by. We're like,
Mhm.
yeah, we're gonna do 30, but we should have known better that talking to Carrie, we just like have a blast, and you have so much to offer, and you have so many specific stories of transformation that you know, I know if I was going through one or a couple of these things that you were, I would just be glued listening to this, hearing someone else's story and unpacking all that. So I
Yeah.
think that just as we wrap this up, do you want to just do like final thoughts for everybody?
Sure.
Do
Carrie,
I
you
get
get,
to go? I
Gary, you
get to
get
go
first
first?
stab. Yeah, final
Oh,
thoughts.
geez. Final thoughts?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, geez. Put me on the spot. Why don't you?
Oh,
I would
come
say this.
on. Come on.
I would say, I know I always have something to say. I'm like, put me on the spot. I would say this. I would say if you have even just the slightest little inkling, and we all do, you have that little voice that nags in your head, like this isn't working, or something's got to change, or something's got to give, or I don't think I can do this much longer. Like really, truly, honestly, um, if you even have the slightest bit of that feeling, and I had it, and it wasn't a slight bit, it was a big bit, but it was just the slightest little bit, schedule a call with Jenny and Jay. Just that's it. Just that's the first, the only step you have to take. Schedule the call. If you, it's first of all, it's not going to cost you anything.
Right.
Second of all, if you don't like what you hear, you don't ever have to talk to them again.
Bounce.
But I would be willing to bet, and I'm not a betting woman, even though I live in Las Vegas, I would be willing to bet that what you hear on that call, something is going to click it's just trust me when I say to you, it will be the smartest thing you ever have done. And it will change. No, it will not change. It will transform your life, which is the entire point. The point, we get one trip down here. One, this is not a dress rehearsal, people. And so many of us have wasted so much time living for someone else, settling, compromising ourselves, our goals, our values, our whatever. Stop. You get one shot to do this the way that you want to do it. So if you have even the slightest little teeny tiny whisper in your head that something's missing or something's not clicking, just schedule the call with Jenny and Jay. Just do it, please, for me. I'll get on the call with you if you're scared. We can do it together. I can be anybody's friend. Reach out to Jenny and Jay. They know how to get in touch with me. We'll sit there together. I will hold your hand virtually or in person if you need me to, but just please, because I would really, truly love for everybody to feel the way that I feel and for everybody to love themselves the way that I love myself. And Jenny and Jay can help you do that. So that's my ending. Thank you.
Cue the ending music.
I know. I'm like, we didn't even pay her to say that.
You better lose yourself in the moment.
Yeah, I think what you said is perfect. And I heard on a podcast today, it's a reminder. We've all probably heard this at one point or another of that nurse who worked in like terminal care, who was able to document like the 5 things that people wish they would have done before, when they're on their deathbed.
Yeah.
And the big things, the things that they say is they wish they would have done it, whatever it is. They wish they would have believed in themselves. They wish they would have stopped caring about what other people think. They wish they would have just lived life. And I think that's my passion, and what's always been my passion is helping people. And as cliche as it is, helping people live their best life.
Yeah.
We can spin it 100 different ways with marketing and say, help you, like love your life so much that you don't need a vacation. You're choosing to take a vacation because it's just part of your life.
Exactly.
We can talk about 100 different ways, but I think that that's what really hit me about what you just shared. And I just heard that today. It's just a reminder that we get our own ways so many times. And
yes, exactly. Get out of your way.
Fuck that shit.
Get out of your own way. I can't believe how much I was in my way, and I was big, so I was hard to move.
Jay, you get the wrap up spot. He's so good at the wrap up spot.
Carrie stole the spotlight tonight.
I know.
Like I'm speechless. Like I feel there's nothing I need to say. Like this whole conversation was awesome, and I think it's more than anything, because there's a lot of coaches out there. There's a lot of people who say they can change your life or they can transform your life, and I'm not tooting my own horn by any means, but I think it's definitely a reflection of how good a coach is or a mentor is when you have a client like Carrie, who was seriously like did everything and it was fed up and was like, I want to change.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, she watched us for a while before she reached out.
Mm-hmm. I really did.
But the fact that she was like, okay, cool. I like who they are. I like who they represent themselves as, because honestly, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't know about Jenny, but for me, what you see is what you get. Like, I do not have a poker face, and I will tell you, Carrie will tell you, I will call you on your bullshit.
Yeah.
And that's
don't try to lie to Jay, because he'll know, and he'll say it right to your face. Like, who you trying to kid? What the fuck you doing right now? I know you're full of shit. Don't ever try to lie to Jay. Just don't.
Don't do it.
That's my other tip.
Yeah, you're wasting your time and mine. So let's just cut out the middleman.
When you're working with Jay, like you'll get a text out of the blue or just like out of nowhere, and he'll say something like, yo, just checking in on you because I got this feeling, da da da. I'm like, how the fuck does he do that? I live on the other side of the freaking country from this man. How the fuck does he know? Trust me, Jay knows. Jay knows.
But yeah, I mean, I guess the only thing I have to say is, like, if you're tired of being in your own way and you want to work with someone who's not just going to give you the fluff and give you another strategy or like something to do, and is really going to sit with you and help you like get through the muck so you can actually live that life you want to. You can actually experience and have that fulfillment. Yo, just reach out for a call. It's a call. It's not costing you anything except time. You see, if you gel with us, we see that if we gel with you, and trust me, I have no problems with telling somebody to kick rocks in a nicer way.
Yeah.
That could be intimidating. You're like, come talk to us. We love you. Kick rocks.
No, I'm just saying, like Carrie said
No,
that,
we're
like,
not trying to
yo,
sell
but
you.
I mean, yeah,
Like,
well,
that's-
definitely not trying to sell you,
we're
but
chatting
two,
to see.
like we're not here for the bullshit
Yeah.
either.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it goes both ways. It can't just be a fit for you as far as the client is concerned. It has to be a fit for the client as far as the coach is concerned.
Exactly.
And so that's all that the call is for. And that's why I say just schedule the call. What you got to lose? It's not going to cost you anything. What are you going to do? You're going to spend that 15 minutes, reading something on Google and trying to solve or writing some sappy post on Facebook. I'm not, please don't ask me what's wrong. I just want to finish. Oh my God. Please, okay? Come on. Use your time wisely, people. Let's be real.
Carrie has spoken, so we are going to put a link below the YouTube. We'll put a link below, and then as far as if you're listening to the audio, you can either find it, actually just go to our Instagram page at @2_J Holla and click the link there and you'll find the link.
Yes.
So
Do it.
Do it. Carrie has spoken. Mic drop.
Thanks, guys. This was fun.
Yes. All right. Have a great week. You guys, will see you on the next episode.
Holla.